Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockreel. Thanks for joining us. 2011 was an election year for the mayor and 3 city council seats. And at the January 3rd council meeting, Mayor Winstead, along with council members Wilcox, Beloga, and Bussey, were sworn in and asked to take the city's oath of office.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
of the state of Minnesota,
of the state of Minnesota,
and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of council member at large
and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of council member at large
of the city of Bloomington,
of the city of Bloomington,
in the county of Hennepin,
in the county of Hennepin,
and the state of Minnesota,
and the state of Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember Amy Grady did not seek re-election after serving for 8 years. As she left her seat on January 3rd, she received a plaque for her service to the city.
We'd like to present her with a plaque of recognition for the services rendered. She served on our planning commission prior to serving on the city council. We go back a long way within this community, and so I'm happy to pay this recognition to you, and it's been a pleasure serving with you, and I thank you from all the people of the city of Bloomington for all you've done for this community. So, Amy, thank you.
For council meetings, history, and contact information for your council representative, log on to the city's website. Recently, Bloomington Today has began a new healthy living segment stemming from the city's recent Do Town initiative, a campaign where Bloomington, Edina, and Richfield join forces with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota to promote active, healthy lifestyles in their communities. This segment, called To-Do List, highlights various ways to keep a healthy mind and body. Let's see what's on this week's To-Do List. Minnesota residents are well aware of the fact that winter is cold, long, and oftentimes boring. And when cabin fever gets you down, take a turn at trying a new winter activity. The Bloomington Ice Garden may be the perfect place to start checking things off your to-do list. According to the U.S. Figure Skating Association, the number of adults hitting the ice for fitness and pleasure is rising, largely due to the all-body workout a skater receives.
One of the misconceptions a lot of people have about skating is that it's all done with the lower body and the legs. And in fact, a lot of people, once they start skating, kind of find out that they have to use their core body muscles a lot more and their arm muscles a lot more than they expected, because especially when they're first skating and they're having their arms out for balance and keeping them out for an extended amount of time, they really start feeling that. But we really think that it's a good core exercise and it's good for body alignment and balance.
Renee Galasinski has been skating for more than 40 years and began teaching residents of all ages 25 years ago. Let's see if Renee can teach me some of the basics of recreational skating. Now Renee is going to show us how she begins teaching any newbie when it comes to ice skating.
Okay, first thing we're going to do is learn how to sit down and get back up.
Okay.
So this is all part of that kind of learning how to fall safely thing, because we really, there's a whole big, awareness of concussions now. So we really want to avoid falling back where a lot of people hit their head.
Okay.
So what you're going to want to do is get your arms out.
Okay.
Really bend your knees and just bend, and then just sit down.
Okay. So that's a proper fall.
Right.
Okay. Now how do we get back up?
Then for getting up, we're going to roll over on hands and knees. You're going to put one foot up, and you can push on your knee or push on the ice or both, and that's just gently push up.
All righty.
And that's it.
All right, we got it. Learning to skate involves facing new challenges daily, and the results on a person's health can be great.
We have a lot of people that take up skating for exercise if they have maybe some knee issues that their bodies can't withstand too much running or walking and the impact on the joints. And so with skating, it's a much easier impact for the lower body joints. And a lot of people, you know, don't like to be hot and sweaty when they're exercising, so they can come to the rink and it's nice and cool, and it's, you know, it's a different break than being in the gym.
After learning the safe way to fall and finding your balance, the next step is learning a simple crossover skating technique.
When you take one foot and move it over the other one.
Okay.
So the foot that's crossing over,
Is the
that
foot that's
same arm is going to be in front. You're going to want to get a nice stretch here and this stretch underneath.
Oh, got it.
So you get a stretch and a stretch. One thing you want to avoid is this.
Oh.
So you don't want those, and that's a really common thing, like in hockey strides, that kids, you know, get this going instead of having that stretch out and then bringing it back underneath you.
So now that Renee has taught me how to get going when ice skating, I think learning to stop is an important thing too. Tell me about a basic stop.
Okay, basic stop we're going to do is the snowplow stop.
Okay.
We're going to stand here and keep our arms out, cushion bent knees. We're going to push our feet out. Right.
Okay.
So you're going to make some snow and just feel that pressure on the ice.
Okay.
And then from there, we can try it moving. Great.
Wonderful. As the lesson gets more intense, some might say I became a bit overly acquainted with the ice, but that's all part of learning something new. Now, on to the next part of our lesson. Well, now that we've learned some of the basics, falling and getting up and snowplow stopping, why don't we take it a step further? How do we skate backwards?
Okay, backwards. You're going to start with your arms out,
Okay.
and you're just going to kind of twist at the waist. And as you're doing this, you're kind of applying pressure to alternating feet. So you're going to kind of feel pushing with left foot, left foot, and then you just kind of go.
Okay. Well, that was quite a workout. Thank you, Renee.
You're very welcome.
And if you'd like to learn any of the things that we talked about here today, Renee is here several days a week teaching ice skating lessons. For more information, visit the city's website. There's a link on there to the Bloomington Ice Garden. The Bloomington Ice Garden manager says that over the weekend of January 7th, there were more than 170 skaters who showed up at Big for Open Skate. If you're a resident waiting for the outdoor rinks to become skatable, you don't have to just sit and wait. Head over to Big. For more DewTown Active Living segments, be sure to continue tuning in to Bloomington Today. And from being active to actively protecting yourself, a recent blaze in Bloomington has caused city fire officials to encourage residents to use caution during these cold, dry months to ultimately put a freeze on winter fires. On December 27th, several fire crews were called to a 3-story, 12-unit apartment building off Fremont Avenue after reports of a fire were called in.
Cause of the fire at 8350 Fremont's undetermined at this time, and the reason it's undetermined is because the damage in that unit was pretty extensive, and because of that we could not determine what exactly caused the fire. We don't have a reason to believe that it was suspicious at this time. We believe the fire was accidental in origin, but we cannot make a final determination.
While the cause of the blaze is unknown, Chief Seal says residents should use extra caution this time of year with many commonly overlooked fire hazards.
Common winter fire hazards: space heaters, candles, cooking fires, decoration fires.
Reports say that one person was taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation, and currently 3 of the 12 units are unable to be lived in. Chief Seal says that what many don't realize is as the temp drops, so does the humidity, and that alone makes for a higher likelihood of a fire.
So you have less moisture in the air, and as you said, everybody's can tell because they get up and walk across the room, reach the doorknob, and they get a shock because of static electricity, and those things build up in the winter. So, and not only does that magnify to some degree your fire hazard, but also your home is closed up. and because your home is closed up, it takes longer for people to notice if there's a problem in your home if you're not home, or even if you are home. They don't see fires as soon because it's all closed up and the fire is contained.
Chief Seal also noted that in case of a fire in an apartment building, breaking out windows and leaving doors open to hallway areas should be avoided if at all possible. Outside air feeds the fire, causing it to grow and spread. Firefighters did a good job in containing this particular fire to the one apartment. The 2 other apartments that cannot be occupied at this time is largely due to water damage. Now it's time for another In the Loop segment where we bring you news and events from the city's South Loop district. And now we're learning that the Mall of America will soon be without one of its original anchor stores. On January 4th, Mall of America announced that early this spring, Bloomingdale's would be leaving the mall. Bloomingdale's opened with the mall in 1992 as one of the original 4 anchor stores.
Mall of America, an anchor store, is defined differently than at a traditional mall. At a traditional mall, that means simply a department store. Well, we have 3 remaining at Mall of America. We have Nordstrom, we have Sears, and we have Macy's. But we also have other anchors at Mall of America that drive millions of tourists to this city and to this mall. They include Nickelodeon Universe and Sea Life. Those are attractions that really act as anchors, and they help to drive that public into this mall and bring shoppers here.
Jasper said that mall officials have known for some time now that Bloomingdale's would be transitioning out of the mall. And he said while they wish Bloomingdale's well, they are excited about the new venture the mall will be embarking on.
This opens some opportunity for us, gives us an opportunity to do some new exciting things inside Mall of America, particularly inside the Southeast Court area. We're going to invest a lot of money here, and essentially we're looking at it as a blank canvas where we can start a brand new painting and do some really creative things that will help drive traffic here, and it will also help our other tenants with sales as well as our restaurants.
And the plan for the space once occupied by Bloomingdale's does not include another department store, but instead several new businesses, many of which are new to the retail market.
You know, I can't get into big detail, but as you see in the rendering, this is going to be a really neat space. Not only are we renovating this entire area so that it matches our recently renovated South Avenue and East Broadway, because this is that intersection, so it's going to look gorgeous, but we're also enlarging it, and for the first time ever, we're adding a sub-level. So actually, underneath Bloomingdale's, there is a sub-level, and one of our retailers, it'll be a 2-story retailer, is going to have part of their store downstairs in the sub-level and part on the first floor. So doing a lot of new creative things. It will include 4 international fashion-forward retailers. They're really popular. 3 of them are new to the market, and people are going to love them when we're able to announce. And then on the 3rd floor, we're going to continue our trend of having budget-friendly stores. So there's a lot of neat things that'll happen in this transition, and in fact, we're going to start very quickly. Construction on the court area is going to begin in mid-February, so about 6 weeks away.
2011 was a record-setting year for the Mall of America. Mall-wide sales increased 10% and traffic rose by 3.5%. 26 new tenants moved into the mall in 2011. The mall is continuing its renovations, which began last year, investing a total of $30 to $50 million in new construction. The first new wave of construction is set to begin in the next few weeks, so shoppers can expect to see change in that mall intersection begin to take place very soon. Well, it's now time for a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by a city public health employee to discuss the inevitable season that we are in the midst of. And I don't mean winter. Stay right here.
30 minutes a day of physical activity can improve your health and decrease your risk of heart disease. So start walking for yourself. Start walking with your family. Start walking with your friends. Start a movement in your community. Start walking. Start something. To join the movement, log on to startwalkingnow.org and help start something now.
Welcome back to Bloomington Today. We are now joined by Karen Stanley. Karen is the Clinical Services Manager over at Public Health. Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, flu season is in full swing right now, and what we want to do today here is educate residents on what the flu virus is, how it's spread, and offer some resources to residents of Bloomington when it comes to treating and preventing the flu. So first off, Karen, why don't you start by telling us what exactly the flu is and what causes it?
Okay, the flu is a virus, and it does cause respiratory symptoms. Actually, influenza causes respiratory symptoms, and it is a contagious disease.
Okay. How is influenza spread? Is it contact? Is it airborne? How are the ways that this virus kind of is mobile?
Well, it generally is caused by people either sneezing, coughing, or talking or laughing, and the droplets extend out from their mouth, and they can go into the air as far as probably 6 feet and can infect other people who breathe in those droplets.
Okay. Well, the odds are, you've felt the symptoms of flu before. Most residents have, runny nose, headache, fever. How serious, though, can those symptoms become?
The flu is a very serious disease in some people. It can cause just mild illness in many of the people who get it, but it can cause very serious disease in certain groups of people in particular, and that's the very young, the infants who maybe can't be vaccinated yet, pregnant women, people who have chronic illnesses, and then in the elderly. The highest number of deaths occur in the people who are over 65.
Okay. Well, in 2009, the H1N1 virus was declared a pandemic. Talk a bit about the difference between a pandemic and an epidemic of influenza.
Okay. A pandemic is a worldwide flu outbreak, whereas the epidemics that occur are usually more local and maybe in a certain area, such as Minnesota may have an epidemic of influenza during a certain time period. But a pandemic extends more globally.
Okay. So, we've heard of things like the Spanish influenza, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Those were epidemics because they were larger areas.
Those were
pandemic.
Okay. The 1918 influenza outbreak was a pandemic.
Okay, I see. Okay, well, vaccines are created to counter many strains of influenza. And, some people believe that it's actually the vaccines that can make them sick. What would you say to someone with that belief?
Well, we actually respond to that all of the time. Probably every clinic that we have, I have somebody who asks me about that. There are two different types of vaccine, the inactivated, which is a killed virus vaccine, and that is the shot, and that actually cannot cause illness in itself. Okay. It will never cause illness. The live attenuated vaccine is attenuated or weakened so that it also will not cause illness in people who receive that. So, and that's the nasal spray.
Okay, so is kind of the point of the flu vaccine to introduce the virus to your body so it knows what to look for to fight?
It does set up an immune response to the introduced vaccine.
Okay. Well, I know that we had said that flu season is in full swing right now, but it's not just winter that the flu is kind of running rampant. In fact, public health continues to give vaccinations into the spring and start as early as the early fall. Tell us what the actual flu season is considered to be.
The actual flu season is almost year-round,
okay.
Depending on what part of the world you're in. But in the in North America, it generally is in the winter time. And we have seen sort of a migration of when we see the most cases of flu from what we used to see were probably more October, November, December. It has kind of switched over the years, and now it seems like December through March are probably when we see the most cases.
Okay. Talk to us a bit. You know, public health has lots of resources available to residents who, you know, want to protect themselves against influenza. Talk a bit about what public health does to keep residents informed and protected.
Well, first of all, we do provide the flu vaccine to as many groups as we can in the community, and we do like to be very active in our community of Bloomington, Edina, and Richfield. And so we do offer it in work sites, we offer it in community clinics. We also do clinics in senior residences, and we try to provide it to anybody who really wants to have the flu vaccine. So, and we still have plenty of it this year, so if anybody has not been vaccinated, it isn't too late for them to become vaccinated.
Absolutely. When are the flu clinics? They're walk-in, right? There's no appointment that's necessary.
Right. Right now we do have the immunization clinics, our regular immunization clinics that are on the first and third Tuesdays from 4 to 5:30, or excuse me, 3 to 5:30.
Okay.
And those we have been doing around 20 to 50 vaccinations per clinic in addition to our other vaccinations that we do. So there are people who are still looking for the flu shot. We also would be willing to do them, you know, at other times if people are unable to get into the clinic, they can just call and we can do them during the daytime for them as well. So they could call our number at Public Health.
Okay. And you know, they're low cost, or if you have insurance, do you just want them to bring an insurance card or proof of insurance, or how does that work?
We do want them to bring their insurance card if they do have insurance, because we do bill most insurances.
Okay.
And they will not be charged anything if their insurance does not completely cover the cost. We also do provide shots for those people who are unable to afford to get the flu vaccine, and so we would be happy to give anyone the shot that needs it.
Absolutely. We're just trying to get that vaccination out there.
Right.
Well, wonderful. We'd like to thank Karen for being here with us today. If you'd like any more information on the flu vaccination clinics that are going on with Bloomington Public Health, simply log on to the city's website and keyword search flu. It's now time for a short break. We'll be right back.
I am Joan Rivers with an important announcement. Getting old is horrible, okay? Horrible.
You're not old. I mean, you're older, but you're not old.
You want to see old?
Oh, gosh.
Yes, grow up, for goodness sakes. The last man to hit on me was an undertaker. I know where
I don't want to talk about
Well,
this,
you're going to have to talk about it. It's the future. It's coming right at us. And I'm not worried about dying. It's getting there. I mean, heaven is going to be fabulous. It's going to be a giant shopping mall, and there's going to be 20% off on everything, except for me, 44.
You know, you're doing jokes, and I'm just not ready.
Well, you have to be ready. You have to listen to me. Look, there are things to discuss. They're going to be my needs. They're going to be my wants.
You know, Mom, I don't want to hear this. I just don't want to hear this. La, la, la,
Don't give me la, 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 la,
I
la.
don't. I can't. I can't do
Talk
this.
to your family about aging, even if they're not ready to listen. Come on, listen to me. Listen to me.
For the first time?
Yes, for the first time.
No matter who you are, it's not easy talking about aging. For help, go to voa.org/talk. A message from Volunteers of America.
Welcome back to Bloomington Today. City engineers are doing what they can now to minimize damage to a road that often feels the full brunt of the spring thaw. Lower Lyndale Avenue, just south of 106th Street to the Minnesota River, is in poor condition. Groundwater has caused the road bed to be unstable, allowing cracks and shifts in the pavement. Starting this month, street maintenance crews will be stabilizing the bank east of Lyndale Avenue. The project includes drainage, fill, and erosion control. To get an idea of just how much water sits on this road in a given spring, take a look at these photos taken of Lower Lyndale Avenue last spring. And while the Minnesota River rises significantly every spring, that's not the only time this street is exposed to water. Natural springs run under Lower Lyndale Avenue, and a stronger roadbed will ultimately help the street last longer, even when exposed to excessive amounts of water during times of flooding. Bloomington Volunteers Enlisted to Assist People, or VEAP, would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to residents who reached out to the organization and made 2011 a successful year in giving. The VEAP Toy Store was able to serve 4,872 children with a new gift and winter wear. Each household was also given the gift of new books and games. A VEAP representative tells us that just because toys have been collected and distributed doesn't mean the collecting stops. VEAP is accepting donations for their most needed items right now, including baby supplies like diapers and formula, personal care items like laundry soap and toothpaste, as well as non-perishable food items. Tuna, canned chili, Spam, peanut butter, and flour go a long way for VEAP. Well, it won't be long before planting will begin for the 2012 growing season, and according to city officials, the final tallies for the 2011 Bloomington Farmers Market were anything but disappointing. The outdoor farmers market in the east parking lot of Civic Plaza ran 19 weeks from June 11th to October 15th. On peak weekends, attendance spiked to more than 3,500 people. Staff estimates the total attendance exceeded 60,000 people in those 19 weeks. The season ended with 2 indoor markets on November 12th and December 10th, attracting nearly 2,500 people between the 2 dates. This year, the market began accepting EBT and credit cards. Customers were able to stop by the city's information tent with their cards and purchase wooden tokens that could be used on qualifying fresh fruits, veggies, and other goods. Over the course of the season, there were 113 EBT transactions and 484 credit card uses. Staff is currently working on expanding this year's farmers market, making the area more pedestrian friendly and adding additional vendor spaces. And that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past Bloomington Today shows or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This is Bloomington Today, a presentation of the City of Bloomington's Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockriel. Thanks so much for joining us.